Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bugbear's Basement. This is Moonshae Isles, episode 12, and we got a little bit of a catch up and maintenance episode for you here today. And it looks like I'm dropping already. What's going on here? Let me check the other side real quick. It's coming through, it seems, kinda. It's very broken up. It's weird. We'll see if that cleans up. I do apologize for that, guys. Tell me if you can hear us clearly. It looks like. Yeah, I don't know. Tell me if you guys can hear us clearly and you can see it. It looks like we're having a little bit of trouble, but just let us know over there in the chat. We do appreciate you guys coming in, checking out what we do here on this role-playing game we're running here on Bugbear's Basement. We appreciate it. And also keep in mind that we got all the links down below. We'd love you guys to check that out if you could. But most importantly, we are live streamers. Please hit that share button and let your family and friends and extended community know what's going on. But yeah, guys, let me know how you get what the quality is on the other side. It's I'm getting a bunch of warnings over here. It's popping up like a freaking Christmas tree. But anyway, hello, crew. How you doing?
Hanging in there.
Dude.
Was that?
Oh God, I thought I'd never have to hear that again.
You know I'm your hero.
Thank you. Actually, what was that from? Was that Pepsi or where did that come from? I forget. It was so long ago.
Budweiser, I think.
Budweiser, was it
remember
Budweiser?
Scary movie did it.
Oh, Scary Movie did it. But did they? But they all they do is copying those movies.
Yeah,
Was there
they
anything
copied
original?
everything, so I don't
Yeah,
know where
I don't
it came
either.
from before that.
But,
I just remember that.
yeah, yeah, I do. There were a few very strange things that came out back in the day. You don't see much these days. I mean, I remember "Where's the Beef" with the little old ladies. That was a pretty
Oh,
cool
God.
commercial. And now
Do
we
you
get
remember the Noid?
the Noid. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Noid?
Yeah, and
Is
now
that
we
Pizza
get
Hut?
Gillette
Uh,
telling us that we're not man enough anymore. Yeah,
I think that
times
was
change.
the Noid. I think was Little Caesars or Domino's. I can't remember.
I was Domino, I think.
It was Domino's. Yeah, avoid the noise. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting a ton of alerts over here, dude. Something weird is going on.
Yeah,
Can you guys see the other side? Is it coming through clearly at all?
No, it's so blurry and really delayed.
It's super delayed.
Wow, did freaking YouTube throttle me again? These guys.
God, who
Probably.
knows what the hell they're doing these days, man? They are doing some seriously underhanded stuff these days.
Yeah, and I don't know why they care. It's a little teeny channel. I mean, we got 846 people on our
Yeah.
stream. You know what? Who cares, man? I mean, God, these people. But anyway, we'll persevere through. We got a short show anyway today. We don't have Zach with us. The young lad is busy with family things, and that's fine because we got some catch up stuff we need to do anyway. We could just have some chat and have some fun. We were talking a little bit beforehand about custom terrain and that great side of this hobby because Bill's really getting into it and he's doing some cool stuff. Bill, why don't you show him what you've been working on, dude?
Yeah,
Ali,
absolutely.
I will white box you as well. There you go. Now people can see you.
All right. Yeah. So I'm running a campaign with my kids, and so started building some terrain. So I made a stamp and just stamped out these squares, and then started painting like the lichen and the highlights and everything on it, and then some dungeon dressings to go with it. So here are some little barrels. I made out of cardboard and paper, and I put a little rock inside so they're weighted and they don't tip over. They're kind of like weeble wobbles, you know.
That's
and,
cool, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Then next step, then I made some coffins. We've got a room with some in the map with some undead in it, and it's big enough to fit a little mini that I have that'll work in there too. And just again, that's all cardboard and glue, and of course craft paint.
Are you running your miniatures? You running 28 millimeter, or are you doing 15 millimeter?
Yeah, this is 28.
It's
so
28. Okay.
Like my doors are basically 1.5 inches by 1 inch.
Okay. Yeah.
So here I did 3 of these doors. These don't open; they're just for placing. But they're all with little bits of like lichen and these are also just made out of dollar store foam board. And it's really cheap. You can peel the paper off, and then you have the foam that you can work with, cut. And all these lines, I just put a mechanical pencil and just impressed it in there. And then I painted this whole thing black. So then when I brushed on my different colors, you know, that you could see that detail come out.
Dry brushing is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I dry brushed like the highlights, the whites and the greens in here. And then I have one door I made that'll open, you know, so I thought that one was kind of fun right there. And then there's a cistern, and I got to finish that. I need to find some head that I can cut off, and I'll like an action figure head. I mean, and then and I'll glue that on there, and then put some water. Put some glue or some resin in there. And this one I kind of screwed it.
You know, some of those orc heads, because a lot of times in the miniatures they kind of have the orcs is kind of a face forward but neck down type of setup. You cut one of those things in half, it go on there pretty good, yeah. But this is the cool thing, guys. When you take a look at this kind of stuff, you go watch a couple tutorials, learn a little bit about dry brushing and stuff like that. You can do this, man. Now, of course, Bill's an artist. I mean, obviously, but you can do this kind of stuff. Most certainly.
But this, I mean, this isn't really like high level or anything. The only thing is just understanding that you worked on your dark colors and then work light. So every layer is lighter than the previous one, and that'll give it some more depth. That's the only real artistic trick that anyone needs to know for coloring these things. There's a little secret door. So this will go on, you know, and then I made it so everything just kind of stands right underneath the platform. There's a room, you know, with 3 doors and a couple barrels in the corner. Done, you know, so.
Yeah, and you don't need a whole lot of them too. You just need enough to like delineate the area. Yeah,
the idea is, you know, kind of run it like a side scroller instead of doing a giant sprawling map that takes up the whole dining room table or living room. You know, it's like they're in this area, they go through this door, and I have a couple other, then I got a hallway piece. And at the end of that hallway is another door. But if you search for secret doors, you find one, you know, and you just keep on moving through it. Well, it's pretty fun. And then, you know, you just do it to scale. So, you know, the miniatures that you have will just fit right in there. So, you know, this guy scaled to the door more or less, and we're good to go.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Especially when you have newer players, it's good to have something visual to help them get into it.
It does.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to mention on that because, you know, when we started playing, I think I started in '79 or something like that, and we didn't use any kind of miniatures or any of this stuff for a really long time. It was just in our imagination. We didn't have any art or anything at all. It was just our dice, our pencils, and our paper, and that's pretty much it. You know what got us into doing miniatures and stuff is, oddly enough, it wasn't D&D at all. It was Marvel's superhero role-playing game, because they gave you a map in the box and those little trifold character standees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't get into any kind of miniature thing until Warhammer.
Oh, wow, Warhammer. Yeah, that for me, that was like 90, 91, 92, something like that.
Well, somewhere I have some packs that TSR used to sell, and they're little, you know, the trifold whatever cutouts, and you get a heroes pack and an undead pack, and that was probably 82 or 83. But I think the miniatures, the craze had started just around then. I remember going up to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, going to the D&D store, and they just had this incredible layout. I mean, it was 3 or 4 levels with dungeons and dungeon under dungeon, and this huge glass case with a castle on top with a big battle going on, and it's all miniatures. It was amazing.
Yeah, and you know, the ironic thing about it is, because a lot of us, when we started playing D&D, we didn't have any miniatures. I mean, I'd say it was at least the mid '80s, late '80s, that we started seeing anything like that. Excuse me, in my area. But the funny thing is, you know, with Gary Gygax, it started for him from his historical miniature wargaming. That's where the whole thing came from. So it's actually started from miniatures, but it took it a long time to get back to it. I just think it's ironic.
Yeah, and that fact that it was a miniature company that ended up buying D&D too, right? When WizKids took it over.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what I was up to last weekend. My daughter and I were making this stuff. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool. And have you guys ever built any terrain or anything?
No, that's next on our list. We're gonna look at doing some inns and some houses and do a town, and then break out the paper mache and start looking at terrain. And I'm kind of hesitant on doing terrain just because, man, it starts. Where do you put it all once you you build this shit?
What I did, I actually didn't build like a whole building or anything. I just built I have like a couple of like 2.5, 3-inch walls, and then I made props to put inside of it because that way you can use the walls for anything.
Sure.
And also, if you build like a whole inn and everything with like the walls and whatnot, it's actually kind of hard to see.
Right. Yeah.
And then everybody's like kind of like sticking their hands in there and stuff like that. Like the one guy, he actually did a video on that and he explained that, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly why I didn't make it, because I'm like, my friends will be fighting over this and they'll break it.
Yeah. Well, if creating this stuff is definitely doable, but if you don't have the time or you feel you don't have the skill, you can go out and go to a hobby shop and you can get stuff and ranges anywhere from simply paper stock buildings and walls and dungeons and stuff, which is really cheap. They have MDF stuff, all the way up to say Dwarven Forge, which is ridiculously expensive, but damn. I mean, if you have the money,
Oh man.
you're not going to get much better than that. I mean, but it's a huge industry. There's a lot of money out there. If you go to like Kickstarter and you look at a lot of these things, a fifth edition, open gaming license might make 20 grand, 30 grand maybe. But you take a look at some of these dungeon train stuff, man, they'll make millions.
Yeah, like Forge did like over 3 million on their last campaign.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I have a friend who actually makes terrain for like I said, 40K, Warhammer 40K, and what's the new one? Hordes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually makes terrain for that stuff, and he sells it. He makes a decent little chunk of change.
Oh, there's some other ones too. You got like Corvus Belli puts out their Infinity, and that's a really nice system. That's more of a space age instead of the 40K style. But there's many of them. It's actually cool, and if you're interested in getting into that, and I think it's a lot of fun. So,
Yeah, but like Bill said, man, you can make some basic terrain pretty easily. I mean, I use like that extruded, like the use for insulation. I just get the 1/2-inch stuff and I just make basic tiles and stuff out of that.
Yeah. I just ran just as a side note to this horrible connection we're getting today. I just ran a speed test. My internet is fine. It's running just fine. So we are being throttled by YouTube for damn sure. And it's like I don't understand why, because I'm still getting pops over here on drop frame rates and stuff like that. And I'm talking, we're talking about 80% plus drops too. That's not cool, dude. But anyway, it's actually a good day for it though. So if this is my day of punishment, I guess it's a good day for it. Because they seem to like to punish you from time to time. They either drop your notifications or they copyright strike you for some nonsense thing, or they throttle you. Because that's what they're doing these days. They're not just banning you. And I must have done something that's got on their radar, but I suppose having Booster talk about blackface is a good thing. It's probably his fault. Of course, I'm joking because I'm the one that said that. Actually, it's not Booster.
Are you talking about in that X-Men comic where the dude got the tattoo in his face?
No, I was just talking in general, because I mean it's true, right? If you like your favorite character is say Luke Cage, and you dress up and you put on like a muscle suit and yellow shirt and some chain, and you you make your face and arms black because you want to be Luke Cage, is this mocking black people? Are you hating them? No, it's because you love Luke Cage. Right?
So
Yeah.
There's no hate involved in it. So, and I think it's extremely rare to find a situation where blackface is actually intended in a negative way, right?
Cronus says software.
Unless you're in Canada.
Unless of course, Canada's broken. It's like Sweden. Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, this is not going to improve. This quality is going to be bad, and like I said, we can't do a run anyway because one of our dudes is off, and we're getting major delays. And yeah, but that's all right. So let's get into what we got to do, and we'll be done for today, and we'll come back next week, and hopefully we can do our thing. So mainly today, what we're going to do is this. Let me just do a quick little wrap up. These guys came out of the dungeon. Of course, they found out that the Denin's Delve, which is where they were there looking for an artifact, a talisman, to help them with this second times of trouble, as it seems. They ended up finding out that the whole thing was some kind of mist that was having a psychological effect upon them and everybody else that had gone in there. But they survived it. And of course, they found out that they didn't go anywhere. They entered into the entry hallway, and that's as far as they got. And of course, that's as far as anybody else got, because the hallway is just strewn with bodies of people that had succumbed and failed to figure out the situation. And of course, our hero Zach is not here today, but extra claps for Zach. So claps for the Zach. Claps. That's very nice. Okay. Very nice, Zach.
Yeah, Zach is our hero.
He is our hero.
Yay.
That's me. That's me slapping my belly. Just let you know.
Yeah. Okay. Now, when these guys woke up, they did find the talisman. They found the hallway is 100-foot hallway, and they actually saw a actual delve. So there is a place here, and they're immune to the miasma that's in here, so they can come back at some future time. And I actually have a pretty cool dungeon set up in here, so it could be fun. We just had another pop, but at least this time it's only 77%. Nice. But oh well. But anyway, two things happen here. One, they are very hungry and they're extremely thirsty. So much so that their lips are cracked and bleeding. They're so dry, right? So they're not really sure how long they've been in here, right?
Sounds like corny after a binge.
It does. It does. That's true. So they obviously been here longer than maybe they had thought, which they have no clue at this particular moment, because technically they're still in the hallway. They're very lethargic and weak. So the first thing these guys do is take a little bit of time to get some food in their belly, a little bit of water, and try to rest. But in the process of that, they're also going around and collecting stuff. Everyone is alive. Everyone is fine other than that. But we do have a extensive list of stuff here that we have to get through as far as that goes. So let's say we spend a long rest of you guys just trying to regather yourselves. All right. And put a little food into you. You're still consider yourselves to be fatigued, however. So all those negative effects are still upon you, and this will last for a couple days. So, you guys gather yourself. You're either in the hallway or more than likely just outside of it, and you kind of try to set up a little bit of a camp. Now, before I start getting into the items that were found, does anyone try to travel back to the camp that was set up for you guys by these supposed guides?
I was actually going to say, if we want to go back to ask these men why they did this, I can actually cast Prayer of Healing on us to hopefully get rid of some of this weakness.
Sure. Does it heal fatigue and stuff like that?
No, it's just basic healing.
Well, you guys aren't damaged. You're just fatigued because you've gone some number of days without food and water, right? So I don't think it would have any particular effect unless I'm sure there's a spell that does remove that, but
it's lesser restoration, but it only affects one person.
Oh, I see. This is something will naturally go away. It's just the effects of your what you went through.
Okay, so wait a minute. There's 4 of us here.
There's 5.
Oh, there's
6.
Technically 6 of us, but right now there's only 5. Actually, I could put it on 3 of us.
Well, take Corny with you.
Well, yeah. You know what? I'm not going to put it on Laz because she's a caster. She's not going to get up in it. So I'll actually cast Lesser Restoration on myself.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
I'll go too, I can also come as another character. They won't know who I am. If you would like, just to put them on.
Okay. I'll go ahead and I'll cast Luster Restoration on myself. I'll cast it on Francis
Francisco.
and I'll cast it on Cornelius.
Okay.
Okay.
And Zach and Lacey will stay here and organize all the gear, and they're also kind of taking time trying to pull these bodies out and maybe kind of try to do some mass burial or something like that. But they're working on those things. They're taking care of that stuff. So,
So
yep.
I'm gonna go with him.
hmm
I'm gonna put
Okay.
I have a little bit of something that comes with being a tiefling ASMR. I have healing hands, which I can actually do on myself or others. I'm gonna do it on myself just to bring myself up to the full brim. So
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna change my appearance to the monk, and then I can also play around with my cloak when we get there if we have any problem with them.
Okay.
So
Okay. Now, you guys traveling, it took about an hour to get to the camp that's outside of the actual area you guys were. Just to kind of remind everybody and just show where that. Come on now.
Okay. Are we still gonna take the short rest to just to like eat and everything?
Well, you took a long rest. Without question,
Yeah.
Oh,
you took a long
okay.
rest. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Well, then
But
I want to cast that before we take the long rest, then, so I can get those spells back.
Yeah, I figured.
Good
But
idea.
it
Okay.
either or, it works out the way it does. Now you guys know that here, because I'm not going to be showing a lot of art today, but so I'm not going to share with you guys. Just show it to the people. Here is outside of the ruin where they set up the camp, and of course this is where these guys are currently. They had gone into this gateway here, this archway, and they probably set themselves up a little camp just here on the stairs because they were so wiped out. They just needed to get a little bit of food and water in them and try to rest. But anyway, these guys travel back here. So let me come back over and just stick it on the crew here. All right, so you guys do that. You head out, and I'm sure you take precautions as you approach that area, and you find nothing.
Yeah.
Right
I
now,
knew it.
yeah. Now, anybody? Now, you're all kind of adventurers, so you do travel on the outside. But anybody here have any kind of scout type abilities? Because Zach's not here.
Yeah, I've got a survival
Oh,
and
survival.
stealth.
Okay, survival's good.
Yeah.
Tracking would be absolutely perfect, but survival will
Well,
do.
I
Give me a
think that I
just
think
give me a survival
tracking
roll.
now.
Yeah, give me a
Right,
survival
right.
roll. That's a lot of dice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you
Oh man,
you suck. All right, cool.
I do. I
You
got a
do.
6.
I got a 20 on my survival.
You have that as well. You find where the
I'm dead.
fire was, although it has been properly policed, by the way, as you should police putting out a fire. But you figure this thing was abandoned days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. They did not expect us to come out of this.
Mhm.
And given what we were facing, I can see why. But we definitely need to inform the king about what these people do.
Well, was there any kind of fight here? Did these guys take out the people who were supposed to be waiting for us? Do you see any signs of a struggle?
Not at all.
Well, it looks like this camp was broken properly. So what
Yeah.
we need to do is see if the boats are still here.
Now that's a couple of day travel, right?
Yeah, but let's procure what we found inside first, and then we'll make our way to the coast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you guys go back, and when you get over there, of course, it's been a couple hours. You find that they have all the bodies kind of lined up and respectively prepared. You guys are going to have to help and spend some time for a mass burial type of thing, but they have organized stuff. And it seems that as Lacey was looking through the things that seemed magical, one of the things she found, because the DM can't really doesn't like all this material component crap, she found a wand of identify with 50 charges. Wow, that's handy. Um,
Magic.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sweet.
I've run myself. I've run a mage that was very, very strict on encumbrance and material items and things
Mhm.
like that. I have, and I understand it's fun. I get the fun of it, but I just think, come on, just let's just play the game. But anyway, so she has identified everything, and everything is well organized for you guys to go through. So someone needs to write this all down.
All
It's
right,
a
hang on a minute.
it's
Let
a
me
lot.
get my
So
notes. All right, hit me.
all right, here we go. For straight up valuables. Now, this is not there's no treasure room here. There's no, so you're not going to find art or any of those kind of things. It's just people and what was on their body, right? So here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
There are 500 gems in total, and of various sizes and quality and type. And this has all been organized, and that you guys know from probably Corny is the one who will give you this information most directly. But they're worth 60,000 gold pieces in value.
Jeez.
My goodness.
Okay, we can all just forget about questing and retire.
I like
That's a
that
lot of money.
idea.
Oh my God.
Buy an
That's
island
insane.
away from here.
I did roll all this, by the way.
Oh, good Lord.
Then
It's all portable holes.
And then, of course, that'll be helpful for moving stuff along because this is very heavy. And then we have 1,000 actual gold pieces,
Okay.
600 platinum pieces. There
Okay.
is jewelry, which the Corny Tip looks at and appraises, and he says he figures is about 20,000 gold pieces worth of jewelry.
Jeez. I'm watching his hands very carefully.
Yeah, right.
Can I do sleight of hand?
Yeah. There is a wand of Identify, which has about 25 charges left. All right,
Okay.
and then magical items. You ready? Let's go. There's a lot of writing. Here we go.
All righty.
You have a cloak of many fashions. It can, at will, look like any style.
All right. 70s pimp kung fu theater.
Yep.
Here I come.
That's definitely going to Corny.
Yeah.
All right, and then there is a clockwork amulet.
Ooh.
The clockwork amulet, basically the way it works is once per day you can take 10 on any roll.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And
It
it's
is
just immediate. You don't have to wait.
Yeah, it's once per day. It's one of those things.
Cool.
Persistent. So next we have an unbreakable arrow. It's no pluses. Well, I'm sure it's masterwork, so it would have that +1 on attack. But it's unbreakable arrow. Then we have a drift globe.
Ooh, cool.
Ooh, that's cool.
Mhm.
I know what that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we have a potion of greater healing.
Ooh.
Heck yeah.
All right. A potion of hill giant strength.
Oh my.
That's for the monk.
Okay. We have a bag of holding.
Another one? Oh, wow.
Oh, another one.
Okay.
This is not a portable hold. This is a bag of holding. It's the
Oh,
standard
this is
size
a-
as well. We
Big
have
bag of holding.
then we have a pair of goggles, eyes of minute seeing.
Minute seeing.
Then we have a set of mithril armor, medium-sized creature.
Ooh.
That's what I would want. All that.
Yeah, mithril
The
would be
mithril
good for you.
armor?
Very light, good protection, and of
Yeah.
course it is mithril, so therefore it can be magicked very easily. Yeah.
Mhm.
Moving on, we have 10 +2 arrows. Very high quality, elven make, by the way.
Okay.
We have a potion of heroism, which is a great potion, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
We have a 4th level spell scroll, which I didn't roll for the spell, so we'll have to roll that up.
Is that arcane or
Arcane, yeah, arcane.
yeah.
This is
I'd
wizardly
probably take that.
Wizard?
a spell scroll.
Yep.
We have a +2 shield
Ooh.
of an unknown make.
Unknown, huh?
Well, it's meaning it's not doesn't look elven or human or dwarven. You're not sure exactly what culture made it. Then we have this is a nice one. We have a helm of dark vision.
Nice.
That's for the human.
Probably, yeah, the human. One of the humans anyway. Then we have a set of boots of speed.
Dude, I want those.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to the good stuff yet.
Oh,
Now we have a potion of invisibility.
What?
That probably should go to the monk.
Oh,
We have a single red-fletched arrow of giant slaying.
wow.
oh man.
Okay. We have 3 6th-level spell scrolls, which I haven't rolled up the spells either.
Do I take those too, or is that just?
Well, none of you can
Yeah.
use them. None of you can use those right now.
Yeah, we'll leave him up in a little bit, but man, yeah, I think maybe that might be like all your stuff.
I just
That's
rolled it
pretty
all
pimp.
random. Then we have a potion of storm giant strength.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
That's a pretty bad. Does that permanent? Is that a permanent?
No, of course
No.
not.
No, it lasts for like an hour, but you're gonna be like for an hour, you're gonna be like ridiculously strong.
Oh yeah. You're throwing trees around. And then we come into the really cool stuff. You ready?
Yeah.
A cloak of elven kind.
Oh my god.
Yep. Then we have
Yeah.
another cloak. This is the cloak of the Mountebank, which is one of my favorite cloaks in the game, actually.
How do you
What's
spell
that?
that?
Look at the what?
A mount as in Mountebank, one word.
What does that do?
It does a bunch of stuff, actually. It's a pretty cool cloak. Then we have a mace of smiting.
I just look at that and go, I'll just put this right here on my belt.
Yes, it's obviously yours. Yeah, that one. This is this. I don't know. There's a couple of cool things coming, but this one right here might be the best thing you got. You have a wand of the war mage +3.
Yeah, that's mine.
Wow.
That's badass, right?
Wow.
Because that is basically it becomes your foci. It gives you +3 in all effects with your spells and a couple other little features. I think that's amazing. That is a legendary item. That's one of the highest things you can get in 5th edition, by the way. So it's
Yep.
that's a legendary item. It's pretty badass. Then we have a greater. This is important. Write that down. Greater ring of regeneration.
Oh.
These are all legendary, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? I'm almost 100% sure that ring's going to the monk, man. Because if he's going to be up front getting pummeled on,
he's our tank right now, anyway. So.
Oh my
God.
Yeah, so cool.
And then last,
okay,
but certainly not least, very, very special item. Another legendary item, by the way. A true Vorpal sword.
Wow.
Wow.
That's another one of the coolest things in the game.
It is. Yes, it is. And I rolled this is all random, by the way. I rolled everything randomly. Just going off of anyway, I used the book to and I used the book you guys suggested too, which is Xanthar's Guide to Everything, for putting this list together. But I think it's a pretty cool list. It's a lot of magic out of nowhere. You guys haven't got much magic up till now, but I think it worked out the way you ended up getting it. A room of sadness, a hallway of sadness has given you a bunch of magical items. Anyway, so you guys can make decisions on that. Do keep in mind that obviously most of this stuff is going to go to you, but you do have an NPC in the party in Lacey.
Mhm.
So you might want to at least throw a bone to her, at least one of these things.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
actually,
also you have to remember.
Zach could do all the bone throwing right there, and we'll just
Yeah,
move on.
jeez. But also you got to remember in fifth edition, you can only attune to 3 magic items.
True.
Yes, but
If they
not
require
everything is,
attunement.
well, not everything is attunable, right?
Right. I'm just
So,
saying that
yeah.
it's like some things we might not even be able to use. So
Well, you can
Um,
search all this stuff in the Dungeon Master Guide mainly, and it will tell
Mhm.
you whether it can be attuned or not, right?
Mhm. I
So,
know the wand and the Vorpal sword; those definitely would
oh,
require that.
absolutely,
So
absolutely. The Ringer Generation 2, I think, or
yeah,
maybe not, maybe no. But the no that
well,
that wand,
it might not because it's not a direct item. So
yeah, the Mace of Smiting is certainly attunable. The Vorpal sword and the wand for sure. Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
just check those things out. Make a decision on
Okay.
who gets what.
Okay, and that Vorpal sword is that what type of sword was that?
A long sword.
Longsword. Okay.
Mhm. I rolled that up too.
All
So
right. Cool
So
deal.
the three, I guess, things. Can you guys use the scrolls?
Uh, the only other person who might be able to use them besides you is Corny.
Well, what are the scrolls for? We need to roll for those.
yeah,
Find out
we
what
need
they
to
are.
roll them up. I didn't roll them up because they're out of your
Okay.
reach. None of you can use those spells yet.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, they're
Um,
beyond you.
what
So
what we can do is we can just drop them in the bag of holding, and once we hit that point, you guys can decide then.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm gonna take that
Um,
the mage wand and the mithril because that's my armor and it's light and it doesn't go against my
Yeah.
not being able to
And
have
you
that
have
kind
a
of
lot of money
protection.
that you could spend to have it magicked. So, I mean, that's
Okay.
good because
yeah.
that is like a
Um,
guaranteed magical item, a magical bull item, right?
yeah.
Okay.
The long sword, the true Vorpal sword. Do we who besides Lacey uses swords?
Zach.
Zach.
Yeah.
He uses
Okay.
a
He's
rapier.
using a rapier,
You-
but we could see what his
His
Well,
proficiency is,
proficiency.
yeah,
to
He
be
because
can
that's a
still train.
to be honest, that is a military weapon, and I don't think he can use it.
I
But
just
yeah,
give that to Lacey,
I
man.
think you should give that to Lacey.
yeah,
That's my opinion because
Yeah.
yeah. Because this
it
thing,
it does give her
it is,
pluses to hit. I mean, she has
yeah,
some pretty good swords already, but it does give her a plus to hit. But mainly, what a Vorpal sword does is if you roll a crit, and I think Vorpal is actually 19 to 20. If she rolls
yeah.
a natural 19 to 20, the death save must be made. Upon failure, a decapitation ensues. That's what a Vorpal sword
Um,
does.
Was decapitated.
Actually, if the creature cannot survive without its head, it automatically dies. It doesn't get a save.
Is to say something like that. Yeah, it's a badass weapon,
Yeah,
but it only
yeah,
comes into effect on natural rolls. Yeah, but you guys can do what you want, of course. But I think you probably should give that to Lacey. I mean, she'd be the
yeah,
most effective with it. You know.
yeah. It also ignores resistance to slashing damage. So if there's a creature that's resistant to slashing, it just ignores it.
Yeah, and you guys are kind of required to throw something at her, right?
Yeah,
And the rest of
and
the stuff, she
True.
doesn't need anything, right?
Well, the shield can go to you, Adderall,
Oh,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dark vision helm. Dark vision helm should go to
So Zach.
Baran.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like the boots of speed.
Yeah.
Can you wait?
Sick.
Can the monk wear the helm? I don't. I know he can't wear armor, but he can't wear. No,
I
because the
have
helm.
I have dark vision.
Oh, that's right. All right. Never
And
No,
mind.
then
he doesn't.
actually,
He has low light vision, but
well, the book says dark vision.
no, it does not.
It does too.
No, it does not.
So what's that mage?
By the way, that the what was that? I'm sorry.
What was the mage wand again? What was the name of it?
Oh, the wand of the war mage. It's a wand of the war mage plus
Plus
3.
three. Plus 3. Please
Yeah,
note that.
it's disgusting.
Right.
It does require attunement. Basically, what attunement means is you gotta sit there and you gotta like meditate on this thing for like an hour.
Yeah.
And it becomes bonded to you. And what this does is you get plus 3 bonus to your attacks to all spell attack rolls. And in addition, you ignore if there's a creature that's using half cover, you ignore it.
Yeah, and keep in mind with swords and stuff, armor as well, but swords particularly, and just weapons. In fifth edition, +3 is pretty much the top. The only thing I
Yeah.
think popping in my head that it has higher than that and is sitting at a +5 is the Holy Avenger. But that's an epic
Yeah.
level legendary item that you're not going to run into till like 15th level or something, right?
Yeah.
That's usually Paladin's gig.
Yeah, it is, but it's
what-
badass, dude.
Totally.
So, let me look this up here real quick and see who. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the shield and the mace.
Smite them.
And I'm
And
taking
mace.
the mithril armor. And what
What does
is that plus? What plus is that on me?
The mithril. Give me 1 second. I'll look it
Oh,
up
hold
here
on a
real quick.
second. I forgot one. Damn it. I forgot something. I do apologize.
No, you're forgiven.
Well, no, because I had it written in just above the gems, and I forgot. I don't know why I did that. There's also a rod of lordly might.
Oh, okay.
That was my nickname in high school.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's. I mean, those are all right. They're kind of utilitarian thing, you know.
Just kidding.
So what is that? Rod of Lordly Might.
Mithril armor. What it does is the mithril armor doesn't have any kind of disadvantages imposed upon dexterity, stealth checks, or strength checks, because it weighs like 1/3 of what normal armor does.
It's light, flexible.
Is this a chain shirt? Is it like, what is it?
It's a mithril chain. Yeah.
So that can be worn. That can be worn under your clothes, and it's unnoticeable.
Right.
Yeah. So your armor class. Yeah, your armor class is now 13 plus whatever your dex modifier is.
So it's kind of like wearing long johns. You can't really tell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
But
unless you're wearing really,
much more
really
importantly,
tight pants.
much
Is
more
it a
important.
chain?
Much more
Is it-
importantly, with the mithril, it is going to give you a better armor class than you would have as a sorcerer, sure. But that it's not that huge a difference. The real thing with that mithril is you should get it magicked. That's the real deal with that, right?
Yeah, you can get that enchanted to do some pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah, because you get when you're crafting and trying to put a permanency of any kind of spell, it gets a ton of bonuses for it. So it's like, almost automatic. You can put pretty much any kind of magic you want on it.
So I kind of want the Cloak of Elvenkind, but I realize that it's probably best to give it to the rogue.
Mm.
It'd make the most sense.
Let me check real quick. Cloak.
While you wear this cloak with its hood up, wisdom checks made to see you have a disadvantage, and you have a disadvantage, and you have advantage on stealth checks.
That's right. Yeah, it's the best stealth cloak you can get.
Yeah.
The cloak's color shifts to camouflage, so it's.
I'm going to ask some advice. What should I magic my armor to do?
Well, it's going to take time. That's something we have to do outside. But yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, like you could have it give you protection against a certain kind of magic. You could have it that where it allows you to cast an extra spell or two per day. There's all kinds of things you could do to it.
So, should Zach get the bag of holding or Corny?
We all have bags of holding. Like,
no, we don't.
Well, we have the haversacks.
Yeah,
we have small haversacks of holding. The bag of holding is like a legit bag of holding.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take that. Why not? I now have a ton of extra stuff. I mean, but then again, I'm the littlest, so I can carry the least, anyways.
You are a mule.
Mm-hmm. I'm the pack mule. I'm a very tiny pack mule.
Okay. All right. So the mithril armor is Laz's. The Vorpal sword is going to be for Lacey. Give me 1 second here. That's Lacey. That's a nasty sword, man.
Yeah. Now thinking, no, you should give that to Lacey. But the the Rod of Lordly Might, you have to think about who you give that to. I think it should be the most versatile person in the group. I'm kind of curious because it basically the rod, Slick. To explain what it does, it's this kind of short flanged rod, and it has 6 buttons on it. And each button does something different, right? And this is a persistent item. It's a legendary item. So the first button makes a flame tongue, which is a +2 fire sword, right? Then the second button, it creates it shoots out like blades, but it also like makes a magical battle axe, which is +3 to attack. So you just got 2 +3 items, right? In this grab
Yep.
here. The third button basically makes it into a 6-foot haft, like a staff, or a magical spear, up to your choice, and that's a +3 as well. The fourth one makes a climbing pole that's 50 foot long. It's very easy to climb for everybody, and it can hold a lot of weight too. I think 2 tons or something like that.
Yeah. 4,000 pounds. Yeah.
The fifth button transforms it into a battering ram, an actual battering ram that gets +10 bonus to strength checks to break down doors and barricades. And the sixth one, the rod assumes or remains its normal form and indicates magical north at all times. So anytime you're holding and you know where the magnetic north is, the rod also gives you knowledge of your approximate depth beneath the ground, or your height above it. This is a dwarven item, right? So you know exactly where
Yeah.
you are underground. It also has these effects, which is pretty badass. A drain life.
Yeah.
When you hit a creature with a melee attack using rod, any of the weapon aspects of it, you can force the target to make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw. On failure, the target takes an additional 4d6 necrotic damage. That's with every strike, by the way. Paralyze. When you hit a creature with a melee attack using this rod, you can force the target to make a DC 17 strength save. On a failure, the target is paralyzed for 1 minute. Which is nice. 10 rounds. And then Terrify. While holding the rod, you can use an action to force each creature you can see within 30 feet of you to make a DC 17 Wisdom saving throw. On a failure, a target is frightened for 1 minute. And a frightened target can repeat the saving throw, especially if you're attacking them, but basically try to stay away from you. It's a badass. This is actually artifact level thing, right?
This
Yeah.
does can a sorcerer use this, or is it? This
No, it's
sounds like
not for you, dude. It's
yeah,
not for
yeah.
you at all.
You have
No.
to, yeah, you have to have
Combat.
you have to have the weapon proficiencies to be able to use it.
Yeah.
Right,
know-
right. Because I was thinking all that stuff. I was like, that wouldn't be
Yeah,
useful for me.
I'd almost
And-
say that it's up to you guys, of course, but I'd say that comes down to either Bill or Zach, probably,
Yeah.
I
All
was
right.
actually
Well,
thinking, yeah.
because that flame tongue, because he's a rapier guy, he can choose that flame tongue is a rapier.
Yeah.
I kind of think that should go to Zach. That like I said,
Yeah.
he's our tank. That's like a tank weapon. Like
But he's
Well,
not a
that's gonna
tank; he's a
force
DPS.
multiplier.
I'm the tank.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Who's the tank? Whoever's the force multiplier.
Well, and I was just thinking, like, if I wear the boots of speed, that gives me a movement of 110. And then I have
Yeah.
this thing in my hands. Dude, I could take out fucking arms. It's a
All
pretty
right.
crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to give
Yeah.
let that go to whoever.
But
wants it.
the other thought is was this may sound kind of unorthodox, but I was thinking, what about Corny? Because when it comes to like a fight, he can be ineffective sometimes.
Well, that's a good
You know.
question. What kind of weapon
It is.
proficiencies does he have?
I mean, he's not very efficient with. Well, let me see what he has actually.
Does he have any kind of like sword? Because you can make it into whatever sword you want.
True. I mean, I
Could be a
generally
short sword.
try and stay away.
It doesn't become a sword. It just
simple
it just
weapons.
has a flame tongue at the end.
Oh, I actually have weapons proficiencies with long swords, rapiers, and short swords.
There you
Okay.
go.
So I don't know. I know I would do a lot of damage. I was just thinking, what if we mix it up too?
Yeah. Actually, the flame tongue is a type of sword. It's just you get to choose what kind of sword it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, see, it's in italics. Okay. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
but and like with the axe, it can also be a mace or it could be a hammer, right?
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
very versatile weapon, and pretty much anybody could use it. The only person here that really doesn't belong in their hands is the sorcerer.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
Yeah,
no
I
need.
would-
No need.
So,
Because she's
What is-
not going to be getting up into
I mean,
stuff.
Yeah, I could see how I could use this to get into all kinds of trouble. I mean,
Yep.
use it for a telescoping, pole. I could run
Yeah, you
outside
can.
a building.
That's
I
true.
could do all
Yeah.
kinds of crazy stuff.
Now, and I'm just sitting here remembering why I put it in a different place is because that was the artifact you got. Yeah,
Oh.
that's why,
Oh.
because it was above legendary. You guys actually in the rolling I had there was an artifact.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll be honest though, I actually think this would work better with Bill. I do think it would back because of the other things that it does, like with the climbing pole and then the battering ram. Corny's not going to have the strength to use those.
No,
Very
well,
true.
and I do have like the +7 to hit. Then with this, I have a +10 to hit, so it gets
Yeah.
pretty
Well,
crazy there.
now keep
That's a good idea.
keep in mind,
I'll do.
he doesn't need strength to operate the item.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He just
But I
needs the
mean, I
weapon for
agree
the-
with you. I think it's better for Bill to have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about efficiency. For efficiency's sake, I completely agree. What is the
Yeah.
drift globe?
It's basically it's a light source.
That follows you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it follows you
Um,
around. Yeah.
Wait, what's the cloak of Mountback?
Oh,
The
that was
bank?
awesome, dude. Read that
Yeah.
description, Bill.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
love the cloak of Mont Blanc. It's awesome.
Okay. This cape smells faintly of brimstone.
Mm.
While wearing it, you can use it to cast the Dimension Door spell as an action. This this property of the cape can't be used again until the next dawn. When you disappear, you leave behind a cloud of smoke, and you appear in a similar cloud of smoke. Nation.
Basically, that should be turns you into Nightcrawler.
It is. It's the cloak of the
Well,
elf.
once per day. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
once
is-
per
I
day.
want it.
The smoke lightly obscures the space you left and the space you appear in, and it dissipates at the end of your next turn. A light or strong wind disperses the smoke. That's a wondrous item, and it's rare. So that's.
Yeah, but it also gives you resistance to fire.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm looking. I don't see that on it, but give me a second.
Should that go to Zach? Because if he can teleport, that'd be really snazzy for him.
I mean, yeah, I don't. There's not like too much here for me to grab. So I would like
Right.
that.
Or do you want it? Or do you want it? I don't. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to.
I'm sure that's true. You could get
I'm
minute seed.
I'm most efficient when I'm not within melee range of an enemy. So being able to get out of that, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Cloak of the Mont Blanc. Let's see. It doesn't say anything about being immune to fire.
Wow. Because it used to have like a +2 to saving throw
Mm-hmm.
for fire.
It gives you the dimension door. Yeah, that's all it says.
Obscurement. It adds to
it-
stealth
it-
rolls.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Oh, it
weird.
gives you,
stealth rolls?
They took it away
you
in
get-
5th
you get-
edition.
You get advantage on stealth rolls basically because of the it's obscuring you.
Okay, well, I'm
And
going to
then,
add in that you get advantage on save versus fire as well.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, but then corny. That would sound like either for Zach or GOP.
Well, it sounds like GOP should get it because we want everyone to get some magic items, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that one's awesome.
It
There's
is
some
cool.
good
I love
stuff.
the Mount
Mhm.
Bank cloak. It's pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
And who took the cloak of Elvenkind?
I think that should go to the. I mean, it makes sense to go to the rogue.
Yeah, Zach,
Like-
I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Zach. That's right. So we're going to give that to Zach. Cloak of Mont Blanc. That goes to Corny.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll take that.
Corny. Mace of Smiting is me. Wand of the Mage is Laz.
For sure. Yeah.
The Ring of Regeneration. I think
no,
that
no,
should
no,
go
no.
to,
Please reword that. Greater
hang on.
ring of regeneration.
Okay, I apologize. Copy that. All right. All right. Ring of Regeneration.
Greater.
All right. I hang on a minute. Let me find the actual one here because there's multiple different ones. We'll get in
I
there.
can already say that should go to the cleric.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Really? Why
Keeping the
not?
healer up is kind of important, dude.
When wearing this ring, you regain, let's see, 1d6 hit points every
10 minutes.
10 minutes, provided that you have at least one hit point. If you lose a body part, the ring causes the missing part to regrow and return to the person. 26 days, you have one hit point.
Well, and that's the standard. So the greater
That's the
one would
standard.
probably have it'd be a different die roll, I'd assume, because I don't see the incremental for.
I don't see greater in here. Yeah.
Well,
What
in the old way, the greater was 2 points per round.
Okay.
So we'll just remember that. in for this.
Greater regeneration. See here.
Well, because I mean, unless we want to give it to Lacey, I think that it makes the most sense to either give it to either the cleric or the rogue.
Well, what about who's also to protect other characters? I mean, I've got, some defense, natural defense. I'm pretty.
True. Well, I
Whereas,
guess it all depends on who we expect to get hit the most.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why I think it should go to one of our two people that are going to be tanking is I'm not actually supposed to be running up into stuff. I do right now because things get crazy. But now that we've got some decent items and people have got some decent defense, I don't have to do that.
True. And I mean, the monk would be, because I mean, monks don't really wear armor anyways. So yeah,
right.
That might actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because I think I'm maxed at 18 unless I get my some kind of magic.
Well, if you didn't have a lot of armor on, then yeah, that might make a whole lot of sense.
Okay, now how many items do you have right now, man?
I'm at 3, and if it's okay if I take the boots of speed, I just want to make sure that's cool.
Let me double. The only thing I'm looking at is attunement, because the ring does require you to attune.
Oh yeah.
Well, how many items do you have to attune to? Do you have that are?
You can only have 3.
I mean, but how many items do you currently have that you are attuned to?
None.
I'm looking right now to see which ones he's got. So boots of speed.
I mean, the one I got from the Earl, I didn't have to attune to.
Okay. The boots of speed you do have to attune to.
So that's 3 then.
That's 3.
Because the Rod of Lordly Might, there's no way a legendary one you can.
That's actually an artifact.
Artifact.
So you've got the boots of speed, you got the Rod of Lordly Might, and the Ring of Regeneration.
Oh my gosh!
All right. Wow. So that's your 3 items that you can attune to. Anything else that is in here that's attunable, you can't use it.
What items do you have currently, Bill?
Prior to this?
Yeah.
Or I had that staff that will do radiant damage.
Right, which that needs to be attuned to.
Okay, I didn't know that because we never that was never.
Yeah, but you could just drop that and use the Lord. Trust me, you'll use the Rod of Lordly Might.
Yeah.
You don't mind if you drop that and I pick up that staff, because I had a staff and I'm allowed a staff.
You are.
Yeah.
Okay, and boots of speed.
And we can go over the effects on it.
I'm just saying. I mean, since you're getting that Rod of Lordly Might, that's
a good point.
That's great for you.
Yeah.
And then
you give him the staff.
Yeah, it's a bow staff +2 that.
Oh, okay.
And it's normally like 6 to 8 inches, but then it can telescope into a full size bow staff. And then it does 1d6 radiant damage on evil.
Nice. Well, if you're willing to part with it, I'm very glad to take it up.
Yeah, totally. Okay. And then it also has the ability to sense evil, kind of like Sting in Lord of the Rings. Like it'll glow when evil's present.
Yeah. That's nice.
Okay. See, Corny's got the bag of holding. Eyes of minute seeing. Let me see what those do.
It gives you dark vision. Minute. No, sorry, minute is different. Yeah.
Investigation.
Yeah, it increases your intelligence when you're doing investigation, and then it also increases your sight slightly too. What was that?
Okay. And it is not. You don't have to attune to it, so that's good.
I don't have to attune. All right, cool.
Nope. Advantage on intelligence investigation checks. You can see much better than normal out to a range of 1 foot. Yep. All right, you want those, Corny?
Yeah, I'll take them because I mean I'm already kind of like loaded with all the extra stats and stuff anyways, so it'll help.
So it gives you for secret doors and all that other stuff.
I'm assuming the arrows are all going to go to Zach.
Well, what was that one? What was the red fletched one? What was that?
of giant slaying.
I'm
Is
guessing it does more damage.
I have a
to-
question. Is it possible I can use that with like levitate or cantrip?
No,
To nope.
no,
All right,
it's
just
an
checking.
archer weapon. Basically, the people who can use that is Zach, Lacey, maybe the cleric,
Yeah,
I
I can use a bow, but I don't use one. So
and
Oh.
maybe even Corny.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I've got a crossbow. I think, or I'm
These aren't
proficient
crossbow.
in.
These are bows, but there is a bunch
Oh
of
yeah,
arrows
that's
in there,
right.
dude. They're all longbow.
Uh,
There's like 10 plus 2, I think, and
well,
an
a
unbreakable
longbow.
arrow, a giant slaying arrow. There's a bunch of stuff.
no, my
Have-
proficiencies are. I've got a hand crossbow proficiency, but I don't have like a regular bow. proficiency.
Okay.
okay.
Well, now we
Alright,
got to
we'll
think
give
about
you know
this. You got to think about this though, guys, because a lot of this stuff seems to be leaning toward Zach, which is cool, but he can only carry 3 attunable items. What are we up
Right.
to?
The arrows I don't think are attuned. You don't have to be attuned.
No,
to them.
no. Sure, they don't have to. But how many items have you guys given to him?
Well, the cloak of
Give them the
elven kind
arrows. and the
is.
cloak of elven
I
kind.
think you have to attune to the cloak of elven kind.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we've given him so far.
And of course, you guys gave him the eyes of dark vision, right? The helm of dark vision.
Oh, helmet
Oh,
of
the
dark
helmet of
vision.
dark
That would make sense. Yeah.
I didn't say we gave. I didn't know we gave that to anybody, but I'll put that on there.
But I don't think he
Okay.
has to attune to that.
I don't think so either. Let me double check though. Helm of dark vision.
Bill, what was that? What was the staff you gave me? What was it called?
I don't have a name for it. You
It's
come
a
up with something?
radiant staff, is what it is.
That's what it
Radiant
was.
staff. And okay.
Well, come on.
I don't know. The arrows, you might just want to give them to Lacey, I guess. She's the only one who uses the bow really consistently. It depends on how many items we can get to Zach, because this 5th edition attunement restricts things. Yeah.
No, the helm is not attunable.
Awesome.
It's not. You don't
All
have
right.
to.
Yeah.
So you're good there. So Zach's got that. He's got the cloak of elven kind. He's got all the arrows. The cloak of many fashions. That I do not think is attunable. You don't have to attune to that either.
I don't think
Corny,
it
you
is.
want
No,
that?
that's a minor
actually
magical
think-
item. Yeah.
I could probably use that for certain situations, but
Yeah.
It's like the old glamour spell, is what it is.
yeah.
It's kind of handy. It's a role playing device. It doesn't really do anything in combat or nothing, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
But I could do, yeah. I think I could do some cool stuff with that, but that would just be like I would have to take off my other cloak, but I could still use that.
What's your
Yep.
other cloak you have?
Well, the Mount Blanc or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you could
I would
keep it
say-
for like performance,
Yeah, you keep it for when you
I
need.
know that's what I would.
and it would
then-
up your. It would probably up your ability for performance.
I would change into it to if I needed to like fit a certain occasion or something,
Right.
But,
Right.
Sure.
So that's going corny, and then you do not have to attune to that. So
all right, cool. Who's getting
So
the
the only thing
clockwork
I have to
amulet?
attune to is the wand of the war mage, right?
What was that?
Yes.
The only thing I have to attune to is the wand of the war mage. The mithril armor doesn't need to be attuned.
No. Well, until you magic
No.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do have to attune yourself to the staff that he gave you, though.
Yeah, you do.
Oh yeah, you do.
Okay, so that needs to be stat. Okay, those two
Yeah.
things.
Um,
And then once I have
okay.
the armor magic, then that'll be my 3 items.
Yeah. So you
yeah.
need to save your money and really think about what you want to put on that armor.
we got a lot of money. Holy crap.
You do. You do.
The clockwork amulet. I
that
think
will-
that would be good for the either for the rogue. Like if he's doing pick locks or look for traps or something. Because it's you take once per day you automatically take 10.
Yeah, I think it's a handy little thing, and you don't have to attune to that. But maybe
No.
that's a Zach item. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put that on Zach if everybody's okay with that.
Okay.
Okay,
Is
potion
that-
of greater healing. I would give that to one of our 2 tanks, either Lacey or Bill.
The potion of greater healing.
Yeah, because if they're going to be up front, they're going to get hit harder.
You should give that to Bill.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm looking over here, Lacey has 4 minor potions of healing.
Yeah. Okay. And the potion of hill giant strength, I think we should give that to Lacey.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, there's a potion of storm giant as well.
Right. That I would say give to Bill.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Although I don't know if that'll help Lacey though, because she's already sitting on 18 strength now with all her attribute bonuses and stuff.
Well, then give them both to Bill.
You know what? Let's give it to let's give it to Zach.
Let's give it to Corny.
Yeah.
Well, Corny's not going to be getting into a lot of hand to hand though.
Yeah, I'm not going to have any real use for it.
I was just thinking, dude, seeing you buff up, man, would be awesome.
Check it out. Does the
potion
potion give you, like it used to, it just gives you simply 18 strength, or is it add +2 or something like that?
Let me double check here.
I think it increases it
Bill?
to certain numbers specific.
What was the plus on that radiant staff?
It was a deuce.
+2.
Potion of hill giant strength takes you to 21.
Oh crap! Okay, I'll give that to Lacey then.
Okay. Oh my god, dude! Potion of cloud giant strength takes you to 27.
Yeah.
What? It wasn't a storm giant.
If it's storm giant, it's 29.
29. It's 20.
Yeah,
It's storm giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus
Jeez, and it
Save
lasts
save
for a
that
freaking
potion.
hour.
Yeah, save that potion for when we run up against something real bad.
Woof.
Well, do keep in mind with this gear that you guys just picked up is adding +4, +5 to your CR, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna be fighting bigger and stronger stuff.
Yeah, which is cool.
Definitely.
So, Bill, I'm gonna say you get the storm giant strength, and we'll give the hill giant to Lacey.
Yep, I got it written down. And let's see, she has a Vorpal sword now.
Yep. Potion of heroism. I'm gonna read off what that does because it's pretty pimp.
It is, yeah.
All right. Here's what a potion of heroism does. Well, come up here. For 1 hour, you gain 10 temporary hit points that last for an hour. For the same duration, you're under the effect of the Bless spell. And let's see here. But Bless does is basically you get to add an extra D4 and add it to any attack roll or saving throw. So this thing's pretty tight.
Boss fight potion.
Yeah, it's a boss fight potion. Honestly, as I would say, that's kind of up in the air for whoever wants it, because the attack bonus can add to spell attacks as well. So
I just got 2, so I'm out. Someone else.
Okay.
Please.
I'm cool with this going to Laz or Corny.
I think Laz does more damage on spells, so it makes more sense for Laz to have it.
Okay.
Oh. So what am I writing again in there?
Potion of heroism.
Okay.
And do keep in mind, as you guys are giving these items around and stuff like that, someone like, it sounds like Corny's not getting very many of the magic items. You compensate that out with gold, right?
Right.
I'm fine with that. That sounds good to me.
Actually, I was going to say the potion of invisibility. I think that should go to him, either him or the rogue.
So that's a potion of heroism, right?
I would probably like it, but I could understand why the rogue would need it. But I think potion of invisibility kind of works for me, trying to be sneaky too. So I don't know.
Because you're kind of like half a rogue yourself.
Kinda. I'm kind of a jack of all trades.
Well, he's half a human and he's half a character, so you know.
He's half a son of a bitch too.
Yeah.
He's half a lover.
Half a lover. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so you know what? For the time being, we're just gonna give that to you, and if something comes along and it's ends up going to someone else, then so be it.
All right.
So what was that scroll that I could use? Not the 6
None of
level
them.
spells.
None of those scrolls are usable.
Fourth level. There was a scroll before that.
The fourth. It's a skill spell. It's a spell scroll case with a 4th level spell in it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just save it until
Um,
you get up to what, 8th level, 9th
Yeah.
level, and you can cast those.
I think it's
Uh,
7th for 4th level and
7th,
9th
okay.
for 5th.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then at that time you'll be able to understand it, and then we'll roll it up then.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
But
those definitely go to
Corny,
him though, obviously.
You
yeah.
just want to give me
Well,
those scrolls, and I'll carry them in my
they'll
carry-all.
they'll either work for you or me depending on what the spell actually is. Because if
These
it's
are all
Right.
more like,
arcane, and that's true. Bard can use some arcane. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say when we get to the point where you guys can use the 6th level spells, there because there's 3 of those. You each get one, and then you guys can decide who gets the last one.
All right.
okay,
You
fair
have
enough.
to fight for it.
Yeah, but keep in mind
Yeah.
the coolest thing about a scroll isn't using the scroll. It's
It's
studying the
writing
scroll.
Mhm.
And that's Laz is a sorcerer, right? So
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
it allows you to
you can
take
still.
spells, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
That you wouldn't otherwise be able to gain access to. That's
Yeah.
especially for a wizard or sorcerer. It's very valuable to them, because of that, right?
Okay.
Well, I guess the thought is just like, the type of spell it is, as in like what the spell actually does. Because there's certain spells that kind of affect my playstyle more, and there's certain spells that are more like damage heavy that would make much more sense for Laz to have.
Sure, sure.
You know?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
deal
so
with those
depending on-
later. We'll deal with those later.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that Lacey's going to hang on to the wand of identify.
That's fine.
I guess why not? I mean, she's the
Yeah.
wand girl, so the identify
Okay.
girl. So yeah.
Okay, and that is it. Now we just have to divvy up the money and stuff when we get back to town and sell it all.
Well, do keep in mind I don't know what the balance is, but it sounds like Corny didn't get as much, so he gets a higher percentage of gold, right? That's how that works, right?
Let me see what he got. He got Cloak of Many Fashions, which isn't that big of a deal. I have Eyes of Minute Seeing, Potion of Invisibility. Bag. He's carrying the bag of holding, but that's basically everybody's, so that doesn't count. Yeah, he only got the cloak of Mont Bank, so I would say altogether we've got about 60, 80. We've got about 80,000 gold here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see
Wait,
here.
how much platinum do we have?
I'm adding. It's 80,000. Then there's another 6,000 from the platinum. I think
I mean, if,
5 goes in 8. What?
was there any silver or anything like that?
No, there's
No.
1,000 gold pieces. But
Okay.
so there's an extra 7,000. So we got about 87,000 gold total.
Yeah.
So normally that.
So maybe take 20 off, give it to Corny, and then split it up evenly, something like that.
Yeah.
So give Corny all the jewelry because that was 20,000.
There you go. He
Done.
gets all the shiny stuff. There you go.
And then there's 67,000 left.
You split that up.
Divided by I guess we gotta divide it by 6, right?
Unfortunately, that's the rules. Yeah.
Yep.
There's still there's 600 platinum, right? So
That's
3,000
I
more
meant
gold.
600 platinum is 6,000 gold. So those are each 10.
Oh, I thought there were 5. Okay.
No, that's so that between that and the gold, that's another
7,000. So there's 67,000.
Right. We each get basically 11,166 gold.
11,166.
Yeah, 11,166 gold.
I'm building a monastery, and then I'm retired.
And you said for platinum, we each got basically 100 because there was 600.
No, I added the platinum in with all the gold.
Yeah, he's just
and
giving totals, dude.
Yeah, I'm just giving totals, but you get 20K on top of that.
Okay. Well,
So
I was
you
going
get
to say I was going to separate
yeah.
the platinum pieces from the gold pieces, but that's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
So you cool with that, Corny? Because I mean, you didn't get as much magic, but you got.
No, that's cool. I got the stuff that I think is probably going to work for me.
Yeah, and he got enough gold that he could actually buy himself something pretty pimp.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, and I'm sure you could haggle with that jewelry to make it more valuable too.
So
Oh, yeah.
how much gold did Corny get all together? Like you got
He got
30.
30.
1,000. Yeah.
You
got
got
about
30 some
30,000.
odd,
Yeah.
31,066.
Yeah.
66.
Yep. Divided by 6.
Now don't
Yeah,
go
he
blow it all on dice.
Yeah. He got 31,166 gold.
Sweet.
There is a particular set of dice my character would probably want to get. But
Well, if you can buy it.
well, it's like a magical set that's basically like it always lands on the way you want it to land.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And do keep in mind that going to the stores and stuff in Denegal, they do have stuff, but it is limited. So if you really
Yeah.
wanted to buy a higher level thing, we'd have to go to Waterdeep or something.
Well, this is like a very common item off of the. I think this is in Xanathar's guide, one of those like the common ones.
Oh, that's fine. That
So-
would be fine. Anything that's common to uncommon, you can find in Denegal.
Well, you also have to. We don't want to assume that Dinagle's still there. I mean, how long have we been gone?
Well, that's true. That's a fair.
Oh,
No, that's a fair
okay.
point. Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I think we figured that out. And I do apologize, guys, for this horrible, janky stream we've had here. It is what it is. We get it. It is what it is. But it's interesting. This is the first time we really had a kind of a trove of magical items for these guys to deal with. It worked out well because Zach isn't here, so we were able to just kind of mix it up. So it gives you kind of a look at how these things happen in D&D. Our party is certainly magicked up. They are capable of taking on, like I said, like a +4, maybe +5 CR. So they're 6 level right now, but they can go into 10 or 11th level combats pretty effectively. Of course, they also can be a little extra deadly because it's above them, but nevertheless, they're very effective now. Which is cool, and it makes sense too, because a lot of times DMs have a hard time justifying this or that. But in the way I set that delve up, where there's been people going in there for centuries, that as far as we know, and the only thing they took off were the actual magic stuff, because there's plenty of other armor and swords and stuff that have rotted over time or what have you, right? So it makes sense that there would be that just clunk of stuff because it's what people would be carrying, right? So it's an interesting way to kind of delve out magic, I think. But anyway, so thank you guys very much. We'll come back next week, hopefully with the full crew, and we'll see where they go next and what happens and how they're going to progress. But other than that, I do appreciate you guys coming. Keep in mind that tomorrow we do have the 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time comics news today, and that will be our last show for the week until Saturday because we're taking Thanksgiving off, of course. Anybody have any closing statements before I get us out of here?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Actually, I will probably be doing a show on Thanksgiving. We're going to be on the Wrestling Council. Me, Antonio, Bryce, Boogie Bentley, and Yule. Look for the Wrestling Council. If you're a wrestling fan, we'll probably be doing a show on Thursday.
Sweet.
Cool.
There you go. All right, guys.
Nice.
Anybody else?
No, that'd be it.
No. All right, guys. Well, that's awesome. And let's see here today. Let's have Bob give us our namaste moment.
Okay. Don't eat yellow snow.
Namaste, indeed.
Word.
Absolutely. All right,
Word to
guys.
your mother.
Thank you. Later.
I don't think well on the spot.
Ah.